Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the Swanky Productions channel. My name is Ben. This is my 2021 Tenere 700 and we are headed out right now to do some final testing on the Camel ADV anti-bobblehead kit. But before I get into that and before I show you exactly what this thing does for you, I want to show you just how bad this bike was without it. Alright, so what we're going to do here is run this same section of road right now without the anti-bobble kit, and then again once I have it installed I will try to hit all the bumps that I can here. I originally planned on doing this on a dirt road, but to be honest, on a kind of bumpy blacktop road is actually where this thing shakes the worst. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this was actually one of the things that I kind of looked at before I even had the Tenere and thought, nah, yeah, I mean, if it really bounces around enough, it's something I'll pick up, but I'm not too worried about it. It wasn't something that I bought in the first round pick of aftermarket parts, and as you can see here, hopefully, especially by the camera that I got on the bars, even on the blacktop, I mean, this thing is all over the place, especially on a sunny day when the reflection is right in the dash there. It is just all up in your eyes and really actually quite distracting. I don't know if it's just because of my knobby tires or really just is the slight bumps in the road, but it seems like there's a certain speed you hit. It's kind of doing it now where even though I'm not getting bounced around and it doesn't feel like the bike's getting bounced around, I don't know if it's just the right frequency or what, the dash just vibrates like crazy. We'll head back home. I will put the kit on and we'll take it back through that same stretch and see what it does. Alright, so we are back at home in the garage here. Let's see exactly what it is that Corey sent us. Packing peanuts in there. Trying to avoid putting all over the ground. Decals. And we've got the handmade anti-bobblehead kit. So I was actually just watching his video again to see how the install process goes before I do it myself, and he was saying that these are all handmade up in the Great White North there, and saying that some people were complaining that they're not absolutely perfect, but I have to say these are pretty darn nice looking welds to me. Heck of a lot better than I could do, and I really think it's super cool that they're all handmade. Where are my set screws? Oh, in there. So other than those set screws, these aren't going to come with anything. They're just going to use the fasteners that are on the bike. So I will kind of go through this real quick. He's going to be turning that forever. Corey actually said that in his video that the right side one, for whatever reason, just likes to spin. It's like that on my bike too. So if I tilt that back a little, I should be able to pick this up. This is sitting on little pegs or something. What's happening here? I'm not really sure what I'm stuck on here, but this doesn't seem to want to come out as easy as Corey showed in his video. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Oh, the wire is just kind of tight. Okay, yeah. These are just kind of sitting down in these little recesses here. So basically I was just kind of fighting the cable here that's plugged into the back. I just gonna have to stretch that a little bit to get those hooks out of there. So we're just gonna set this off to the side so we can work on things over here. So I'll be pulling this one out and that one out down there. You guys can quite see that or not. Now the ignition's in the way. I actually did get my little wrench in there. There we go. Not too bad at all. Ooh, why'd everything get blurry? Make sure you get your little brass spacer off of there too. This piece is surprisingly stiff already, but I guess basically what we're going to be doing is kind of connecting this piece to this up here, which is kind of separated. So I guess just by having that all kind of made into one, it's going to kind of hold things a little bit stiffer. The headlight itself should actually be a little bit more stable, which definitely it is pretty annoying. It also, just like the dash bounces around quite a bit. I do actually have a little bit of footage that maybe I'll splice in at the end to show what it looked like before and after. The next step then is going to be to pop the GPS bar loose. Probably need 2 hands for that, but then I'll just loop that anti-bobblehead kit bar around there. So these will be oriented with the set screw right there that you see, kind of pointing forward here, and then the bend kind of goes down and in. Literally have a magnetic bolt dish inside the door here in the basement, but for some reason I decided to stick these all into my pocket. That's what I'm looking for. Alright, so you are looking at the top of the headlight in the middle of the anti-bobble kit. Gentle with the gauge cluster. Line it all up. So I'm getting these in quite a ways with my fingers, but I'm not tightening anything down yet. Alright, so I've got all of them in there. The bottom ones are definitely a little bit tricky. I would say maybe doing those first might help a little bit, but now basically what I'm going to do is just kind of in sequence snug these all up. To be honest, if I was going to redo this, I would definitely use just a regular 90-degree Allen wrench. This worked way better than trying to fit my socket Allen wrench down in there. Much easier to get things loose, much easier to get things tight. I would also highly recommend to absolutely make sure that you're not pinching this. Definitely almost did a couple times. I don't know how hard this would be to unplug. I'm about done, so it's not really worth looking at now, but it might be something that's worth doing too. I'm just going to kind of stretch that up, go over, it just fits down in there. I'm going to be putting those guys back in with some Loctite on, just on the outside of my dash here. And they have a tendency to spin, so I'm basically sticking my finger in here and then turning this side like that. Now for the set screws, which are carefully packaged in their own little compartment here. I had somebody ask me what I was using for a GPS mount the other day. This is actually a GoPro mount, and I've got just a super old automotive GPS that I actually cut the back door off of a GoPro to use as a mount, and I've just got that VHB taped to the back of it. Okay, so we've got it all put back together. Everything is tightened up, and this is definitely good and solid on here now. This whole windshield kind of holds everything together up here as far as the GPS bar mount goes, and that is definitely good and solid. As far as the dash itself goes, still rubber isolated, so that's going to protect everything inside there. Same thing for the headlight. Definitely still some movement there, which is good, but not a whole bunch that it's going to be scattered all over the road. So one quick note here before we get out and test this all out. Keep in mind that my GPS is not at all hard mounted. This thing could use an anti-bobble kit on its own here. So the best way that I can describe how this kit works is absolutely perfect. I was out for a good amount of time today and quite honestly forgot to even pay attention whether or not the dash was moving, which is definitely a very good indication to me that it is not moving, because before I put this kit on, it was always bothering me. And this is, like I said, just absolutely perfect. It's not so stiff to the point that it's just really vibrating in place or anything, to the point that I think it would be, you know, obviously not good for the electronics in there. Woo! But it is nice and smooth, just like you'd expect. Probably how this thing should have been when it rolled off the line. Yamaha. But I am just super happy with how this turned out. As for kind of hitting the right speed, the sour spot, I guess, if you will, where before this would kind of just vibrate even though the road was smooth, I have not been able to find that speed yet, and I think that's just because it doesn't exist anymore. Let's go back to a time when I did not have the anti-bobble kit on here, and see how much the headlight bounced around, see if you can keep an eye out for it and see what I'm talking about when we're riding here at night. Alright, here we go. So I think I'm just going to leave the low beams on, because that'll probably give you the best idea of what we got going on here. And to be honest, I'm not 100% sure how much the anti-bobble kit is going to help this headlight bobble. Is that a person on the road? I think it is. Oh! You can probably see already here the headlight does bounce around a little bit, which obviously, I mean, the front of the bike is bouncing. The headlight is also just kind of bobbling in the spot that it's in, rather than just the whole bike moving. Obviously, that'll be a little bit hard to separate, but that's what the test is for, right? We'll compare the footage, and hopefully that'll speak for itself. I gotta say, it's a little bit hard to mentally make myself go through the bumps rather than kind of trying to avoid them like you'd usually do. And boom, it's daylight again. So hopefully you guys were able to pick that up. Now let's put the kit back on like it is, and let's say it's nighttime, and let's go out for a ride, and let's see how much smoother that headlight is now. All right, go back down to just the low beam here. And maybe you guys think I'm crazy just even from that first dark ride video, and maybe you didn't notice the light shimmying at all, and it really only did it noticeably on camera on some of the bigger bumps. The headlight, you could just see, was just kind of shaking. I mean, obviously not the end of the world. It was definitely something that I took notice of. Look at that moon coming up. And tonight I got more than halfway to this road, and couldn't remember exactly what it was that I was out here to test, and then I remembered, oh yeah, it was the headlight, and it had apparently been fixed to the point that I had completely forgot what it was that I was supposed to be testing, and it definitely did make a huge difference. Like I mentioned earlier, I was a little bit apprehensive at first that this might clamp the headlight down in place too much. I don't think it does that. I did kind of reach around to feel to see if it was completely locked in place and just buzzing away when I was going at a good clip, and it was not at all. It does move freely, like I showed you earlier, to the point that I don't think anything's going to get wrecked in there. However, like I said, it definitely is in place enough to the point where I didn't notice at all that it was shaking, and that was definitely something I noticed, like I said, immediately the first couple times that I took this bike out after dark. Look at that moon. How cool. Beautiful night for a ride. What is it? 55 degrees only. Feels warmer than that. Oh yeah, and I did have the Cyclops LED lights turned off. We'll turn those back on. So I would definitely say that, let me get back in gear here. There we go. I would definitely say that this is something that is certainly worth doing if this is something that's going to bother you. Like I said, I mean, the dash on the first couple times I rode it, like I said, I almost just kind of forgot about it. Where before I put these on, every time I would go out, it would kind of, I guess, be in the back of my mind, and I thought that was just because I had it in the back of my mind, but I think it was really just I was picking it up in my periphery and kind of being annoyed by it. And I think definitely anything that you can remove from that in this type of situation when you're riding something that's completely uncaged and you're riding around at night and there's deer all over the place, and maybe riding around during the day when there's cars that want to hit you all over the place. I think it's definitely good to remove any sort of distractions like that. So something that is maybe even a little bit of a safety feature, and something that I'm definitely glad to have on the bike. So thanks, Corey, for getting this stuff together for us and fixing our bikes up for us like Yamaha probably should have to begin with, like the high fender. So if this is something you guys are interested in, check down in the description. I'll have the link to the anti-bobblehead kit down there. I will also have a link to the Camel ADV website in general. There's lots of stuff out there that you can check out that Corey's got done for this bike and lots of other bikes. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check it out. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care, stay safe, stay swanky. Make sure you get out and ride. Enjoy this beautiful world. Maybe get out and see the moon coming up.